Working within your allocated hours. Hello, my name is Satish Patel. I'm the ICT coach at the Faculty of Humanities, Umeo University. This is a presentation about how not to work for free within your organization, but planning your work in relation to the number of hours which you receive. Here's a framework which you can consider when planning your work, your module. And we'll begin by looking on the right hand side here at planning considerations. And there are some questions for you to consider here. Is your course at G1, G2, G3 level? In other words, is it an A, B or C course? And this is because if you have students who have not studied at university before or who have not studied a distance course, it requires perhaps a little bit more time in its planning, or at least in the beginning stages. Have your students used a learning management system or a learning platform before? Has this learning management system been used by your university or by your institution before? What about the course? Is it new? Has it been run before? The modules, are you teaching your course, as it were, first and then another course or module following that? Or are you teaching your course parallel to somebody else? If that's the case, you'll have to have time considerations as regards how much work students will have to do during any given week. And there are other questions here that you can keep in mind, such as whether you and your colleagues have worked together, whether your colleague has worked with the learning management system before, the kind of training that you have with ICT. Have you made learning objects for your course before? For example, online quizzes or video lectures. Also, how much time do you have available for planning the course? I think I've written this twice, so I'll just remove this here. Now, looking at the left-hand side here then. To begin with, write down how many hours you receive for the module that you're about to be teaching. Also delkurs. So, for example, 100 might be the number of hours that you receive. Now keep this in mind, because you might have to be in a situation where all these other features here, you're going to have to juggle the numbers backwards and forwards. And whatever numbers you write in this position here, you'll have to adjust them as it goes on. How many students do you have on the course? Perhaps you might have, say, for example, 40 students. And this has considerations, because if you have 40 students, then 40 times marking exams is also going to take a certain amount of time. How much time is that going to take? So you make some kind of hypothesis based on how you intend to assess your students. If you, for example, have one exam at the end, or if you have perhaps several tasks during the course. But let's just, for the sake of it, consider that it might take 15 minutes to mark each paper. So that's 15 minutes times 40 that you're going to have to write in there. And then also you're going to have to think, sorry, that's for making exams. For marking exams, this is where you're going to write 15 minutes times 40. Alright, so that'll take you 10 hours there. Perhaps making the exam, maybe it'll only take you 1 hour. How about tutorials? Do you have a course where you, a module that you teach where students might need help from you in order to understand the contents of your course? Give it a rough estimate, say for example 4 hours. How many lectures will you have face-to-face if it's a campus-based course? How many seminars will you have? Or instead of lectures, you might be making video lectures. In that case, how long might it take you to make these? And you might have an online seminar here. So again, just for the sake of numbers, let's say if we write 10 hours worth here, or it's going to be 10 hours for you to make these, and perhaps you're going to have online seminars, and this will take you a total of about, say, again, 10 hours. Then your pre-module preparation and the ongoing planning time, and also a reserve for hiccups, for mishaps. So you write these in and you see whether the numbers balance or not. Now in this particular case it looks okay, but let's continue. We can add a few numbers here. Let's have 5 hours for hiccups. For ongoing planning, admin, responding to the forum as the course, the forum on your learning platform as the course continues, and this takes a fair bit of time, at least on a net-based course. And let's say if we allow, say, 15 hours here. And then when you then add up these numbers here, it's very important that it doesn't exceed 100 hours. Now together with this, you also need to look at your module aim. And here you could write the learning objectives of your course, and you might have several learning objectives, how you wish to measure them so that what you measure actually measures that learning objective, and so on. How you're going to practice it with your students, how you present it, and the ICT tools you need. Remember, if you haven't used the ICT tool before, if for example you're going to do an online quiz, then that's going to also take you time. And is this something that you have received time-wise in terms of planning your course here? And also, do you have the adequate ICT training? If not, you might need to take that into account. Importantly, your module that you're creating will not probably be perfect the first time around you make it. It'll be as good as the number of hours that you receive for doing that course. So, the message here is work within your allocated hours and use this as a framework for your planning.